know I look a little vampiric tonight. I can't get... I was working on my filter thing. I mean, you know, the filter thing is like, hi everybody, by the way. The filter thing, it's like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like obfuscation anymore. It doesn't seem like, you know, like I know what I look like and I know what I look like with a filter on, and you all know what I look like and what I look like with a filter on. So it's not like I'm trying to get one over on you with a filter, but it just looks better. I mean, they're filters, you know. But since I moved to the office, I mean, so I made the trailer. Hey, everybody. I know the colors are so good, aren't they? The quilt. This quilt is ridiculous. Ugh, you don't even know. You don't even know what's coming. And so, anyway, I made the trailer, and we're going to play it. I mean, I'm so excited. Boy, if I get red lipstick on my teeth and with this filter, it's going to be like terrifying Dracula blood. Okay. Anyway, so I was making the trailer, and it looks so good. You know, I think the show looks pretty good. I sort of look tan, you know, which is the opposite of right now. So there was something about the lighting in the apartment, you know, it was just different. Anyway, I can't get it back. It wasn't perfect, but it was, you know, I don't know. So I'm here in the office, and I did turn the desk totally around, which is better. God, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I am a delicate flower, and I am anemic, so maybe this is my real self. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, Pam. You like, maybe like, oh, hey, oh yeah, there was a hype train. Oh my God, that's so cool. That's awesome. I have to go back and see what happened. So, okay, Myra is here, and Jill, and Sandy. Sandy tries, welcome back. Robin's Nest, so good to see you. Oh, there's so much to tell you. Padma, good evening. You used the code for AQSG, but Carrie talked to me to make sure that you got your $15 off, because I don't think that you put in the code or something. It may already be resolved, and you may tell me this later in the chat, which I haven't gotten through yet, but I see you. I know. I know. Jill is excited for Friday. Same. Do I look? I don't know. God, stop. Enough. Sonia and Susan. Susan, you're going to love it tonight. Linda Arp. It's good to see you. I was reading back. I met with, or I sent my notes and things to Rohan, who's doing the Quilt Nerd logo. And I was looking back. Dee Marie, who are you people? Dee Marie printed out or sent me the transcript from the chat. Whoa! Thread has just cheered 1,000 bits. We are 78% to another hype train. That's amazing. So that's cool. I mean, thank you so much. That's great. It's very encouraging. And yes, quilt stuff, nerds tonight. If you haven't seen this show before, I mean, stick around, because I don't need to even tell you about it, because I'm going to show you the trailer that I finished. Finally. It's 59 seconds. I tried to upload it to Twitch, and it's not yet. Hey, thank you, Pam. Oh, we did it! We did it! There's a hype train on the loose. Thanks, guys. Oh, man, it's a 2 hype train night. I got to write that down. 2 hype train night. Maybe. See, this is my Quilt Nerd content plan. That's right. So maybe it's the quilt. It's got y'all wild. Anyway, so I tried to upload the trailer to my Twitch channel, and it had to be under 60 seconds. So anyway, it'll be like on the landing page of my channel as soon as the show is done, because I'll fix it just right. But I put it up on YouTube, and we're going to watch it. So if you've never seen this show before, watch the trailer. But don't read ahead. Don't go over to YouTube and watch it, because we're going to watch it together. Seems like the right thing to do. And, okay, Jill, is anyone going to the Pendragon show? I'm sure that people have shared whether they are or not. Hey, Ivy. Hope you got my email about the thing. You're amazing. Mother Nature. Interesting topic. Yeah. We're going to look at some dudes. Dudes in quilting. I mean, I don't know. Well, sort of. Art and quilts and all kinds of stuff. And a few gals, too. Sonia's going to go get some wine. You know what? I actually have a little tonight. I've been cutting back. But, yeah, today was kind of cray-cray. Oh, my God. Okay. I'm losing my place. So, and Karen, your daughter's visiting. It's so nice to see her. That's awesome. Where is she visiting from? Penny Catherine and Fiendor and Warden Bernard. Trying to think what else I can tell you as I'm saying hi. Joyous Fibers, it's good to see you. And okay, I'll say hi to everybody more as I go through some stuff. Thank you for subscribing, Threadist. Thank you for subscribing, Sonia. Y'all have been subscribed for, well, Threadist for 6 months and Sonia for 4 months, and that's amazing. I appreciate it. And Padma, subscribed for 7 months. It's like you guys are all neck and neck. The hard plus thing, the sperm quilt. Oh wow. So the auto mod caught you, Mother Nature, because you've referenced a quilt that has sperm on it. It's true. I didn't even think about putting that one in here. Well, we'll do more guy quilts, but the mod flagged you for that word about human reproduction, which is ridiculous. Grover. Oh my God. Yeah, Paducah's coming up. Okay, Felt Like Sweets. I got your message, and yes, you have been recorded. Okay. My Great Cats. Okay. I'm gonna keep rolling here. SJ Pepper. Oh no. You know what? So I was reading the chat. Lillian, hi. It's okay. Hi. So my mom says you can't say hi to everybody all the time at the beginning of every show. So blame it on my mother. So I was reading back over the transcript because Dee Marie sent me the transcript from the last show when we were talking about the logo. You people are very funny. And it's SJ Pepper, but I mean, it's all of you. You're very funny. And the way you sort of the way you chat with each other and sort of play off each other, I mean, we know you're smart, and you're really funny too. And if you're new here and you're like, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm funny, maybe this is like a clique or something. It's not. I know, because I've seen people come in over these months and feel welcome and glad, and they stick around. And it's just like, it's a crack up around here. So I shared notes with Rohan, and sorry, I have been very thirsty all day. I shared notes, so we'll do second round. And thank you for all your feedback. It was very good, very good. And so the logo is on the way. Your daughter's in the same city, but she came to share excellent news on her new job. Hell yeah. Good job. Yes, my mom also told us to look at cleavage. She did. Heart cleavage. I put a little heart cleavage in the trailer. Let's watch the trailer. Let's do it right now. A crack up. Mm-hmm. So here we go. I'm gonna play the trailer. Let me get small. How about small? I'm doing a lot of the bingo board things tonight, I think. We have a bingo board, so when I say things like it's a crack up, you get to put a little chip on your bingo board. Okay. Where is this? Okay. Great. Because I say the same things, all the time. Imagine that. Okay. Whoa. Here we go. I'm really happy with it. I am. I mean, is it perfect? No. Is it done? Yeah, it's done. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Welcome to Quilt Nerd. Hold on. I have to make myself go away. It'll be funny because I'll be in the same spot in the trailer. Hang on one second. Goodbye. Let's do that again. Okay. Hear that great intro. If you've never been Welcome to Quilt Nerd. If you've never been to this show before, we look at quilts and we look at art and sort of investigate. Quilts are really just a pathway to looking at the whole world and learning about it. We were talking about science quilts. Some of them look sort of Japanese, this stuff. This is a show that is live, so anything that I do that's wrong, not morally, I think that's gonna happen. I don't know, it could. Yeah, there's so many people in the chat, it's awesome. Oh, this is wonderful, these little stars. Boldly appliqued. She acknowledges a debt to Jackson Pollock. Totally. Twitch is new for almost everybody here, including myself. The show will probably be on forever because there's so much to look at and think about when we look at quilts. It's always free to watch live. If you are a subscriber, I appreciate you. Join us, see what this is all about. If you follow, you get a notification when I go live. It's a really cool community. We like it here. There you go. That's it. What do you think? It's kind of cute, right? Isn't it kind of cute? I'm pretty happy. I mean, is the sound perfect? No. But you know what? Jean Nolte, back at Fons and Porter, good old Jean, she used to say, and people have said this in other applications, done is good. Done is good. Done is good. Perfect is not easy. And I think it's cute. I think it's real cute. Isn't it cute? So thank you very much. Thank you very much. I have to say, I mean, a lot of times I'm like, I don't know, did that work? But I had a big smile on my face when I finally got done with it, because I think it's really, it's got the right tone and it's done. But it's fun, and I've been working on more YouTube videos, and the editing just takes such a tremendous amount of time. But when I finally got I put everything to the side and was like, I have to finish this, I want to do this, it actually went quicker than I expected it to. And so it gave me some confidence to make some progress on these other videos, for YouTube. So, because I really want to make more recorded content. But it just takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy. Okay, good. Prairie Susie says, I think it's reflective of my experience from the show. Excellent. I mean, there's goofing off. There's vampire tips. Yeah, you know what, Jill? The bloopers. The bloopers reel is a pretty good idea, actually. Boy, there's a lot of them. This show is so hilarious, and it's funny. It's funny. I mentioned that earlier. Okay, so hey, Stitch and Deb. So so that's the trailer. That's the big thing there. And the other thing is that we do have a 200 sub goal giveaway happening. When we have 200 subs, I'm gonna give away a quilt. But I'm gonna, a lot of you know that. More of you are gonna know about that. But I don't wanna. Let's just keep our subs going, and I'll give you an update as we get closer. And once we hit about like 195, we're getting there. Once we have that, I'm gonna put things back up on the screen. I don't know how to do like a fundraising goal or like a sub goal. I don't know if it's good to have it up all the time, or if that's kind of like visually boring, or if you want to see like how close we're getting, and we are getting close. But I think for now, just like for the next week or so, I'll see how things go, and then put the stuff back on the screen. Oh, okay, yeah. So that is that. Okay, and then the last show, the last announcement, just like the last show, we had a wonderful thing happen to the show. AQSG, American Quilt Study Group, which is like the quilt nerd group, they do uncoverings. And who was it? One of the funny things, who said it? In that transcript I read, was it Sarah? I can't remember. It wasn't SJ, which is interesting. But someone said, I treasure my uncoverings, and then immediately after said, that just sounds wrong. I mean, it was really funny, but Uncoverings is the journal that AQSG puts out every year. And hey, Bonnie, you're right on time. And so, oh yeah, Ivy, that's a good idea. So was it a vodka bottle? No, it's Topo. Oh, wow. Yeah, you can't see that. It's Topo Chico, the best mineral water around. So AQSG submitted a proposal to the board. I mean, we were like on the agenda. and they approved a coupon code for the Quilt Nerd Show for you to become members at the friend level for $15 off. It's $75 membership, $15 off with the code QuiltNerd15. It's the first coupon code they've ever done. I mean, they've just never done it. So they're doing it for us. And I think 8 people signed up on Saturday. So that is awesome. You're amazing. You will not regret it. It's a good thing. And it's all going into the pot of your quilt nerdery and your future. Your future. That's right. Because I think a lot of you are going to be writing papers and attending conferences and becoming members of all kinds of quilt museums. And suddenly there'll be like competition for the show, which, you know what? I would love it. I would love it. Competition is very good. If there were more quilt nerd-like shows on Twitch or more quilt nerd-like live streams in the world at all, it would be very good. On many levels, it would be good because people were nerding out and talking about quilts, but also because more of the stuff usually helps everybody. You know what I'm saying? So please call it Quilt Geek or Nerd, Fabric Nerd. It's not the same. Okay, so Unbridled Brilliance, or whatever that book was called, going to be the title of your memoir. Your memoir was going to be called Heritage of Genius. I remember. There's only one Mary Faust. Well, thank God. Thank you, Robin's Nest. Thank you to all my mods. Okay, the trailer we watched, that was really fun. And then my vampire complexion, great, check. And then the Quilt Nerd 15 code for AQSG. Now, what is this quilt? What is this quilt behind me? I've got great stuff to share tonight. I mean, like, great. And let's do it. So, okay. God, this is so weird. Look at this quilt. Now, what you're looking at is, hang on, let me see if I can, I'm going to scoot this over a little bit. Okay. What you're looking at is this quilt was printed over the gutter of this book. Okay. So when I scanned it, that's what I had to deal with, which was a little bit annoyoso, but that's okay. Let me go to this one. So yeah, so that's the gutter of the book. And the book, by the way, that I got it from is this book. And this book is by Sue Reich. And I thought I did all my coupon codes, but I didn't. That's great. If you, after the show, I'm getting very good at these coupon codes on the fly, but Raffle Waffle, I know, I mean, I keep threatening I'm going to put you on this, but I really am. If you go to quiltnerd.link, I'm an Abe Books affiliate. Now it's really a thing. Now I'm kind of like obsessed with like making these affiliate links. I'm going to do, I have to do it at the end of the show, but Reich Patriotic. So quiltnerd.link/Reich Patriotic. And the link is there in the chat. And Sue Reich spells her name R-E-I-C-H. So she has lots of books because she's awesome and prolific and great. And we looked at her book. She did the World War I and World War II books, those wonderful books. This is another one of her books. So we looked at World War I months ago, some of the quilts from that book. And Reich Patriotic will be this one. And I have to make sure I do that. If Raffle is here, I mean, basically I just have to give somebody my Abe Books affiliate login. And it's like super fun to make the links. Anyway, but I got to train you because it's very, very complicated. Not really. Okay, Bonnie, you have this book. It's a great, great book. I love being an Abe Books affiliate. Haven't seen a dime, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. I mean, anyway, it's working. I just have to figure out how to finish the process. So like another company pays you, like all the stuff is logged in Abe Books, and then, but it's, anyway, it's fascinating. Cool story, right? Do you know, have I ever told you that if you tell a story or anecdote that's like very boring, like how Abe Books affiliate links work, and somebody says, cool story. I don't know if you've ever heard someone say that to you derisively. SJ Pepper, I feel like you maybe came up with that, but it's very funny. So, you say, I'm an Abe Books affiliate, and someone says, cool story. Anytime that happens, you just go, and then I found $5. And it's a cool story. And then I found $5. Hey, Kitty Hannah. We're glad you're here too. I am very glad. Welcome to Quilt Church. Okay. Excellent, Padma. That's a good tip. I know. 9 steps to join AQSG. I know, Threadis. That's on. Have I told that to Carrie yet? But that's on my notes of how can we make membership easier? And it's making it be less steps to sign up for AQSG. But don't let it dissuade you. Okay, so let's go back to this quilt. Sorry. We have this quilt in front of us, and this is called the George Washington Cherry Tree Quilt, made by Garnet Brewer. 1893 to 1962 was his or her lifetime. In Daisytown, Pennsylvania, designed and published by Sophie T. Lacroix, or LaCroix. And this, this is a George Washington quilt. Kelly, American Quilt Study Group is an organization that's been around since 1979, I think, the year I was born. And they're really nerdy about quilts. And they publish fancy journals and stuff. I'll tell you more about it. And the mods can help out a little bit too, but I will tell you all you need to know and more. So this quilt has hatchets on it. It has patchwork hatchets. Patchwork hatchet. And it says, okay, let's see. So this is in this book. This is in this book of presidential and patriotic quilts, which makes sense. And I'm trying to see where Garnet Brewer. There has to be something else about this quilt. Hang on. Where did I see it? Well, there were a lot of George Washington quilts, centennial quilts, it seems, often pick George Washington to feature. And I found this quilt because I was looking for another one. There's this really famous quilt with George Washington silhouettes all around. It's blue and white, and it's got these solid black George Washington head cutouts on the quilt, and it's really distinctive, and I believe there are cherries on it. And I swear I saw that quilt the other day, and I was like, I'm going to do that tonight for the intro quilt, but I couldn't find it. So you'll see it eventually. So I was flipping through this book because I was like, surely Sue Reich, that quilt is in here, and I'm probably looking right at it and I don't see it, and but then I saw this one. I was like, well, that is ridiculous. So but let me just I really want to know a little bit more. I read this somewhere, that it couldn't have been a commercial pattern. Okay. The pattern for the George Washington Cherry Tree Quilt, designed by Sophie T. Lacroix, was published in her Martha Washington Patchwork Quilt Book. Okay, number 12, St. Louis Fancy Work Company, St. Louis, Missouri, 1916. Okay, so it was published. Well, it's a crack up. That's for sure. The hatchets, it's kind of great. Wait a minute. What year was it? What did I say? 1916. 1916. Isn't that wild? Isn't that just wild? Yeah, let's look at construction. Because it's very interesting. Okay, let's move you over here, Hatchet. I'm going to center this Hatchet. Okay, so seminal piecework. Who said that? Lillian? I mean, okay, so what do we have here? I'm gonna go in a little bit more. I mean, she published the pattern, so I don't have it here. It's not like published here. But it does have, I mean, it's got some of the piecing. It's really strange. It's really strange. Bonnie, if you said you have this book, if it's easily findable, let me know what you think when you look at it, like in the book. I mean, there's some kind of drawing underneath it that suggests it's the pattern, but to me, it doesn't look related. It's very strange. M. Hicks says, I just finished a Civil War book by Barbara Brackman. It's right over there. And she mentioned the possibility that George Washington cutting down the cherry tree was likely a myth. Interesting. Just like Betsy Ross sewing the flag. There are no solid documented sources to verify these myths, so she surmised that they are likely myths passed down through the ages. Historians know these things. Nerd award. When you do something like that at this show, when you come with the facts, when you come with the facts, the legit facts, we celebrate that. Seminal piecing, 1916 exactly. Color scheme is unexpected for that period. I mean, I think so too. Except is it? Is it just? I'm thinking, and it's like, maybe these colors aren't so crazy, but the application of them is very crazy. Like maybe there was blue and white quilts, there were red and white quilts, there was pink around, you think about like basket quilts, and like there was yellow, but this all solid thing. And I mean, does it scare you? It scares me a little bit. There's a lot going on. A little bit log cabin. Yes, your kids say it's Minecraft. Agreed, Charles. It's very Minecraft. It's very 8-bit kind of thing going on. The blade. It's So way to go for being original. And the person who did the tame George Washington cherry tree quilt, fine quilt, love it. It's great. But this one made the book, So be original, be yourself, So yeah, and this by the way, the center, these stars, like the sashing and the chain border and stuff, it's pretty awesome. I think it's pretty awesome. It's very thick. I mean, you can't get that many pieces. The red, the pink, the center yellow, the pink, the red. It's a lot of pieces, so that's a very thick chain. Oh, does it say how big it is? I don't know that I saw that. No. It doesn't say. Well, what if it was really tiny? What if it's a crib quilt? Is it more disturbing? Maybe. Okay, so that's the quilt, and the reason that I thought that would be sort of fun is because we're going to look at men tonight, but a couple gals snuck in there actually, because that's what happens with this show. I just sort of let my fingers or my eyeballs do the walking, and whatever happens kind of happens. But I chose two gentlemen to talk about tonight, and then I was like, what gentleman made quilt should I have at the beginning? And then I thought, oh, what about like a quilt with a dude on it? And I thought, how about a president's quilt? So that was the thinking about all this, and now, hatchets. But there was one other quilt in this book. I am not going to comment on it, but now that you know the content of the show tonight is focused on our gentleman friends, I know this is maybe a little, I just had to do it. I'm gonna disappear myself, and maybe even mute the mic, because I'm not going to say anything about this quilt. I'm just going to show it to you, and maybe you'll know why I laughed out loud. Okay. Let's see. This is the Garfield Monument Quilt. It was made in 1890. This is also from Sue Reich's book. Fine. I mean, come on. Oh wait, let me move this over. You know, it's 64 inches by 82. Oh God. It's just so awful. I'm terrible. After the death of the president, okay, buzzkill. After the death of the president on September 19th, 1881, I know. I didn't make it. It's right there. I know. See, some people might not like this. Quilt Pattern Companies designed a quilt based on his memorial in Lakeview Cemetery, Cleveland, Ohio. The monument was begun in 1885 and dedicated in 1890. Courtesy of Polly Mello. It's fabulous. It's very high contrast. And it's great. Oh my God. I'm not reading some of these comments. Anyway, let's have some female energy too, okay? And we welcome everybody here. Damn it, I keep hitting the thing. Friends beyond the binary, male, female, whatever. It's all good, but we're going this direction tonight. I was looking through something else, of course, and I found this quote, which I just thought was great. Hold on, I think my monitor screen is a little bit too big for my thing. Just 1 second. I want things to be centered. We want to be centered. Yes, very good. Okay. That's what I get for moving things around. Okay, so great. So this quilt is in a big book that we're going to look at later. American Quilts in the Modern Age, 1870 to 1940, by Maren Hansen and Patricia Cruz. Quilt Museum in Lincoln in 2009, but that's a whole thing. That's like a meal. There's that book and a sort of a companion book, and like, just trust me, we'll go deep into that book at some point, probably a lot. But this one, I love this little, I love this quilt because when we were looking at Mary Koval and Joe Koval's collection of quilts, their book that they had made, or the book that was published about their collection by the French Simply Moderne publishing folks. Good Mother Nature, I'm glad. God, you're all just very, very funny. She had a number of black and white quilts in there. And when I saw them in there, I didn't talk about them on the show because, we can't go through every page and do every quilt. And I was also like, wow, black and white quilts. That would be fun at some point to do a black and white quilt chapter. So then this caught my eye and I was like, oh, that's really neat. And I wanted to share it with you. So this is just a little bonus quilt, but it's very sweet and black and white. So this quilt was made in, it's called Colonial Lady, and it was made in, damn it, hang on, it was in the 1920s. I printed off the page with everything because there was a detail of it too that was really good, a good detail shot of it. Okay, but here I can tell you this. The unknown maker of this Colonial Lady quilt top made her own original interpretation of this stylish motif, which was the colonial girl, which was popular in patterns and needle art, books and trends and things. She seems very aware of fashionable trends, the maker of this quilt, even though her needlework indicates she was not experienced at applique. Instead of using scraps, she chose a dramatic black and white color scheme for each of her 16 repeated blocks. She was pretty good at applique by the time she got done with those blocks, you know what I'm saying? And the triple lattice strips that separate them. I mean, it's really interesting, right? I mean, the sashing is really, look, another quilt with interesting sashing. Pem, I knew what was going to happen with that quilt. I had to do it. Your eyes, Linda. My eyes. We'll see, this chaste lady will restore us to our delicate flowerness after that quilt that we looked at. Anyway, so the striking combination was seen in fashion in the decorative arts and the colonial silhouette cross-stitch patterns popular in this era. Her lady's pose is similar to patterns offered by Virginia Snow Studios and McCall Needlework, but the size and rectangular shape of her blocks, the penciled outline of her design, look at this, you can see the pencil. Isn't that cool? I just love it. Yes, Bonnie, nice. 19th century version of Sunbonnet Sue. Hey, Elle Riggs. It was a bit judgy. I know. I agree. It was like, well, she wasn't so good at applique. It's like, well. But, I mean, the people who wrote this book, Marian Hansen and Patricia Cruz, I mean, no one's seen more quilts than them, so they probably can't help it when they see, some. I mean, I don't know. But, that's why I did the little siren. Just a little. Okay, just a little bit more. The skirt on her lady has been shortened to reveal stylish pumps. Not pantalettes. Oh. See, more racy stuff. Oh my God. There you go. Racy material on Quilt Nerd. There's always something funny that happens, and that's what it is. Look, there's a woman on a quilt and she's not wearing her pantalettes. And the quilt we saw before was... And it's streamlined flare, so it's talking about her skirt here. The skirt on her lady has been shortened to reveal stylish pumps, not pantalettes, and its streamlined flare with vertical lines speaks of the 1930s rather than colonial or Victorian ruffles. Her lady's bonnet looks like the wide-brimmed cloche hat worn in the late 1920s and early 1930s. The hollyhocks are an Art Deco modern interpretation. Tiny pearl buttons on the front of the bodice add, another fashionable touch. This is definitely a modern colonial lady. Interesting. So suggestive. My great cats. It was also without pants. The quilt before. True. No pants on that monument. That reminds me of a Jean Ray Laurie quilt book. No dragons on my quilt. It's for kids. Yeah, I think I was looking at the construction of the hatchet quilt. Okay, you're talking to Bonnie. A grown-up holly hobby, I love that. Okay, so that's it. That's it for that. Now, what I'm gonna do now, I wanted to show you this. Oh, I showed you this book last time. I mean, I know we talked about the quilt. We talked about the quilt that's on the cover of this book at the last show, and then I think I showed you a picture of the cover of this book, but I pulled out my own copy, and I was like, I don't think I showed them the actual book, but anyway, I think there's an affiliate link for it. How about that? Okay, one other thing. It's a little bit of this and that, it's kind of like a bowl of crisps tonight. Because I have something else to show you. You know how the other day, well, it's been a little bit ago, but, hey, Liz D, doing laundry and packing. Where are you going? I'm so glad. That's like my favorite thing to do when I'm like packing or loading pictures for this show. Turn on a live stream. I love it. I feel like that, yes, that is your granddaughter, Padma. I like that. Remember how we were looking, I was in Winterset, or before QuiltCon, and we were looking at quilts. And I showed you, like, I was flipping through a book, and I was like, it's pretty awesome. I was looking through this book of, I forget what it was. It was like story quilts, like African American story quilts, I think. And as I was flipping through the book, I was like, we've talked about like, 8 or so of the books of the quilts that are in this book. It was so cool. I was like, we're really learning things, because this beautiful book, what is it, Stitching Memories or something? I forget. But, we really, I think it's safe to say, like, we kind of are learning about quilt history and learning things on this show. I hope that's true. I think it's true. I'm learning things. And so twice in the past week, I have come across this quilt again. You all remember it, the Tumbling Blocks quilt, and it was remade. Okay, you can see your mom. That's great, Liz. It was remade by that gal in Kentucky. Remember I showed you the picture from Quilt Folk when we took a picture of, she was holding the quilt over the upstairs porch. I think some of you remember. Anyway, this Tumbling Blocks quilt is like, it really gets around, this quilt. Talk about some suggestive stuff. I mean, this is she's a loose woman, this quilt. But so this is in the engagement calendar, Quilter's engagement calendar treasury. A lot of good stuff in there. That's actually on the docket for Thursday. So we'll talk more about it then. But it's in that book, and then it's in this one too. It's in Quilt Masterpieces. There's an affiliate link for this too. Can't remember what it is. Somebody probably remembers. Look. So that's like 5 books I've seen this quilt in. Look at the difference in the color. It looks really good on the screen. This is, now it's kind of that yellow in the book. But anyway, that's a really famous quilt apparently. I've never seen a Tumbling Blocks quilt get photographed that much. So there you go. Now when you see this quilt, you'd be like, oh, her again. It is really wonderful. And I think, it says, the caption here says, surely this is the zenith of a Tumbling Blocks quilt, so brilliant in its crescendo of color and form. And it was made between 1930 and 1940. I think the other book says 1920 to 30. There was a discrepancy there. It's 108 by 94, made in Ohio. It's upside down orientation. Oh, was it? Was it really? I didn't even notice that. Really? Could it be? Oh, it be. I didn't even notice. I was looking at the color. How interesting. Hung differently. Which do you prefer? That is the same thing, right? I looked at it 5 times. Yeah. It says 1935. It's good. So, okay. Oh, wow. So that's that. I just have lots of different things. Here we go. Tonight, we're going to talk about Lucas Samaras. Samaras? I'm not sure. Maybe either somebody can look that up for me, or maybe you know. Is it Samaras or Samaras? Samaras. It's Lucas, and he's Greek. It's Lucas Samaras. I think it's Samaras, but someone can tell me. Remember, this show is a exploration, not a presentation. We learn together. We explore together. If I tried to make a presentation, like a comprehensive sort of presentation like that, there wouldn't be a show. I mean, no. So I bring stuff to you and we look at it together and we learn about stuff together. So this is Lucas Samaras in 1966. I love his shirt. It looks like it might be Liberty of London. It looks like it might be. And actually, did you know, oh my God, see, bits and pieces. Did you know that David Bowie wore a Liberty of London shirt on the cover of his album? Just the one. He had a Liberty of London shirt on his, what record was it? Oh, I didn't think about this, but then I saw his shirt and it looks like Liberty of London, and I remembered. David Bowie album covers. I'll see it. I can't see the chat, or maybe somebody's got it there already, but let me... Oh, is it that? No? Hang on now. Well, okay. Maybe when we take a break, I will look it up, or maybe somebody can find it. But yeah, Liberty of London. So I don't know if it's about the same time period, but yeah, I mean, anyway, Liberty of London's been making fabric for a long time, so it's possible. Robin's Nest, you did know that. Okay, Susan R. Michael knew that too. Yeah. I'm not surprised. So why are we looking at him? Well, his name comes up in quilt books about quilts, art quilts in particular. His name comes up in books about quilt history, but like obviously contemporary quilt history. I mean, when you're talking about art quilts and the crossover between, the fine art world and the quilt world, really, yeah, SJ, you're here for this one. Oh, I mean, forget it. I'm so happy to hear that. That's fantastic, because there's a lot to say about this guy. So he's still alive, and like very whooshy on my details tonight because I'm so excited about the visuals. Okay, so it's probably Samaras, I would say, and here's some stuff about Lucas. Okay. Okay. I've got a bunch of these to show you, and I'm going to just tell you. Okay, I'm gonna get to one. This is reconstruction number 20. So it seems that he made most of these quilts, these quilt pieces, from about 1977 to 1979 or 80. They're always reconstruction number, this is reconstruction 20. And this one is reconstruction 41. Okay. David Bowie, Charles, thank you. David Bowie wore a Liberty print jumpsuit on the cover of The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Is there life on Mars? Okay. Thank you, Charles, very much. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. And they all look sort of similar, but they're all very different, and they're all, one of a kind. It looks like woven ribbon, Ivy Kadivy. It totally does. What I'm going to do is I have a few things that were written about specific ones, and so I'm going to read one of these first so you can have a sense of like what's happening here. Hey, L. Riggs, you just subscribed. Wow, indeed. I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing. Okay. Hang on. I want to get to, I don't want to reveal it. I don't want to read ahead. I don't want to read ahead, and I don't want you to read ahead. And so I want to get to the right one, and I'll read to you about the work itself, and then I'll read to you a little bit more about Mr. Samaras. Okay, reconstruction number 28. Great. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. I've got it. All right. Here we go. Look at that. Reconstruction number 28, 1977. I'll zoom in for you too. May appear to be an abstract painting. Upon closer inspection, one realizes it is actually a patchwork fabric construction sewn on a sewing machine. oh, that's good, El Riggs. I love it when I see that little alert. So you can hit it as many times as you want. Okay, Pemberito. Hey nerds, I have to get Jet for work. I added a quilt nerd directory in the disco lobby and your contact info if you like. Zero pressure. Pemberito, thank you so much. Folks have been talking about a quilt nerd directory in the Discord, which we call the Disco, and Pem and Who else? Well, Pem, you spearheaded this project, and that's awesome. I really appreciate that. That is very cool. If you subscribe to this channel, by the way, it's $4.99, and you get access to our Discord, which is a really good place to be, and you don't have to watch ads during the stream, and you get entered in all the drawings and things. And if you are an Amazon Prime member, you can sign up for a Twitch channel for free. So you should sign up for this one or subscribe to this one through your Amazon Prime membership. So really, you can get a free subscription. Thanks, Jeff Bezos. Okay, let's go back to this. Lucas Samaras. Upon closer inspection, okay, I'll do that, one realizes it is in actuality a patchwork fabric construction sewn on a sewing machine. Fabrics cut into various strips and shapes have been rejoined together to create this composition. To create this work, Samaras began by cutting one large piece of fabric from end to end, and then rejoining the two halves by stitching in a second, different piece of fabric. I'm going to go out to the whole thing. And let me do this too. Yeah. This process was repeated again with the newly assembled fabric being cut at a different angle and then stitched back together with a new added piece between the two cut sections. Does anybody want me to read that again? Dee Dee Brew Crew! So glad you're here. Do you want me to read? I'm going to read it again. Because I think you nerdy people would like to, it's very interesting, and it's not complicated, but it's like, okay, to create this work, Lucas Samaras began by cutting one large piece of fabric from end to end, then rejoining the two halves by stitching in a second, different piece of fabric between them. Okay, cool. This process was repeated again, with the newly assembled fabric being cut at a different angle, then stitched back together with a new added piece between the two cut sections. Samaras repeated this process many times, introducing new angles and fabrics with each cut. The final construction unifies the different fabrics, patterns, textures, and colors. Although Lucas Samaras' fabric reconstructions resemble quilts, in which fabric salvage and scraps are recuperated, I love that word, in that way, recuperated by their assembly into a new whole, he actually made works such as Reconstruction 28 through a process more akin to drawing. And then they explain the same thing. And this, I believe this one is from, this bit about him is from Albright Knox, about the artist. From Albright Knox, which is it's a gallery. See, look at this. I've got all this stuff. But Albright Knox was a place that had several of the works and good information. Albright Knox. It's an art gallery in Buffalo, New York. Okay, great. Okay, wait, where am I going here? Okay, so what are people saying? Is there a name for that method, like slash and stitch? Slashandstitch.com, owned by Padma. It's great. That's a great, it trips off the tongue. Threada says, same process as that quilter that made those really sublime billion pieces quilts, one that you're trying to buy, Mary. Joy Seville. Complicated. Yeah, that the green looks like ribbon on top. It really does. And this metallic over here, that really is, a ribbon, some kind of polyester. This is too, right? This brown. Well, okay, the brown and white looks like gross grain ribbon or gross grain. But this definitely does. This, could that be more 1977 if it tried? I don't think so. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these other reconstructions. And I'll tell you about Lucas from this Albright Knox gallery, okay? Let me get down here, okay. And I'll go back to that first one too. Now that you kind of know how he did it, cool, right? Oh, it's really neat. I mean, I've seen his work and I was so interested in him, and he just seems sort of enigmatic, and he's made a lot of art. And this period of time when he was making these reconstructions, yes, exactly. I've seen these, in various books, and been like, oh, Lucas Samaras, I want to know more about him. And it seemed that he made these pieces in these several years, 1977 to about 1979, 80. And then, I was looking for more textile work from him. Did he keep making quilts? And I didn't see that, except I did see some paintings made in the 90s that very much resembled quilts, particularly those of Anna Williams. So I think I pulled a couple of those pictures. And Threadis says, I remember that artist Samaras from art school, but don't recall the pieces. Newfound interest. Yeah, I really dig it. I really, really dig it. I would love to have one of these. Maybe because it reminds me of Joy Seville in a way that I didn't even think about. Gold lame, sure is. There's something very patronizing about that description, as if what he does could never condescend to be quilting. Okay. Condescending? Just wait, condescending. That was creepy, because we're about to get real condescending here in a minute. Not us, but So let me tell you this. Lucas Samaras was born in Greece in 1936. This is one that's was hanging on the wall. And it's, not a great picture, but I wanted to show it so you could see scale and things. I didn't tell you how big these pieces are, but I'll get back to that. He was born in Greece in 1936 and immigrated with his family to the United States at the age of 12. Samara's fascination with and the use of a variety of different materials in his artwork were in part inspired by the colorful, richly decorated churches of Greece and by the many hours spent. This is the back of one of the pieces, obviously, spent as a child in his cousin's dressmaking shop. Cool. The artist's versatility is also displayed in the variety of media he has worked with over the course of his life. Ooh, look at this one. I like this one. I like it a lot. This was made in 1979, reconstruction 59, 67 by 92. And I think it's this. Yeah, it's this one. And this one was at Christie's, I believe, or Sotheby's. A lot of money. It was sold for a lot of money. He has done paintings, film, sculpture, and photographs. During the 1970s, Samaras was a pioneer in the field of photography as a result of the innovative ways he worked with Polaroid cameras. Oh, I could just live in this picture. He currently lives and works in New York City. He's 85, so he's doing he's in his 80s. He's living his best life in his 80s. This is like sheer, like a disco dress material. Oh, I can just see it in like a Halston. Looks like a Halston. Pollock inspired. Jackson Pollock. Jan makes stuff. I don't know if I said hi to you yet. Hello. And you are right. And you and Kelly. Mind meld. Like scraps on the dressmaker's floor, Penny Catherine. Exactly. Yeah, oh man. I love this one because it looks like it's glowing, I think, because of that sort of sherbet thing running through these different parts of it. Ugh, I think it's great. Oh, I love it. Okay, and here's the one we saw. Was this the one? I don't know if it was the very first one we saw or if this was very similar, but I found this picture in a gallery and I thought that would be good to show you to see where how it looked on the wall and all that. Crumb quilt with ribbons on top. Very good, Quilty Mouse. Excellent. Hello. And Susan Michael, yeah, it has depth. There is a depth to these that I think is pretty cool. And it's because of that weaving, layering. Oh, we'll come back to that. Woo! I had more of those than I thought. So, yeah, there's depth because, I don't know how many layers he has going on, but they're really, I don't know. What can I say? Who said it was a little bit, was it Bonnie. Bonnie said there was something a little patronizing about how, he's just this genius, right, who was sewing a strip together and then cutting it and sewing it back together in a different formation. It's like, So, this book, which has an Abe Books affiliate link, because this one's really good. They'll be live after the show. quiltnerd.link/pioneering. Pioneering. I'll just put it like that. And I've got actually an image of it for you because you need to know about this book. This book is really good. So Sandra Sider is a legend. She's a queen in the quilt nerd world. And she's been around. And she, anytime there's a book that looks like this about quilts, like it's just unprepossessing. It was written in 2010. And there's another book, Quilt Culture, Tracing the Pattern Quilt Culture, which I keep meaning to talk about and haven't yet. But I mean, it's a lot of writing in this book. I mean, it's really in depth about pioneering quilt artists, 1960 to 1980, which is such a fascinating time for quilts, And so it's really good. And I want to just sit down and read it all because I dip in and out of it. And I just want to know more. So when I was like, Lucas Samaras, I'll bet you there's something about Lucas Samaras in Sandra Sider's book, Pioneering Quilt Artists, 1960 to 1980. And I was right. And, get a load of this. She's so beautifully shady in this. Okay. So back to Lucas. Where we at? Yeah. Okay. Let's look at this one while I read this. Scraps on the dressmaker's floor. Okay. You're not sure you love these. L. Riggs. Okay. I hear you. Oh, yeah, he was totally at Studio 54. Okay, you liked it on the wall. Oh, put next to a porcella kimono. Maybe, you know what? Oh, my God. Maybe one day. Mark Wesley, it's so good to see you. Oh, you got ice cream tonight? Wait. It's great you're here. I love it. What kind of ice cream did you get? Threadis, the link isn't live yet for this one because I gotta do it on the fly. So after the show's done, like as soon as I end the stream, I'll go directly to Abe Books and put in that link. So yeah, because this is one I really encourage you to get, especially if you're an art quilt person. Okay. So here we go. Romar Bearden. Okay, so this is Sandra Sider talking about art quilts, pioneering quilt artists, okay, in her book. Quote, Romar Bearden. We know all about Romar Bearden. Remember I was saying we were learning stuff? Yeah, you all know who that is. What? Romar Bearden. Okay. Romar Bearden and Lucas Samaras both used patchwork to build their surfaces. Interesting. In his reviews of their work in the New York Times, Hilton Kramer. Sorry, I have problems with him. You'll see why. Hilton Kramer succinctly explained these processes. Concerning Bearden, he wrote, quote, the style that serves this very personal iconography might best be described as patchwork cubism. He's talking about Bearden. Actual quilts, too, Kramer continues, are depicted in appropriate settings. The patchwork quilt is, after all, a kind of primitive cubism in itself. And its use allows the artist both a free play on personal memory and the discipline necessary for art. I mean, primitive cubism, I mean, it's like, it's so patronizing. It just is. I mean, Hilton Kramer reviewed The Whitney Show in 1971. And I mean, he loved it, but it was one of those moments where, you know, in his review, he's just like, oh my God, like quilts? Oh my God, how crazy. The show is really great, you know? And it's like, I'm so glad that you saw the light, Hilton. But he still was really, just sort of dismissive. I mean, I don't know. He loved the show. New York Times art critic, loved the show, but the way he talked about it was like, wow. Okay, there's a little bit more here, because Cider gets back it up. Okay, Kramer was astonished. Astonished. Yes, the bees. Oh, I haven't used a bee in the chat. You know, if you're mad, you can use the Yo Mary Fonz bee, because you got a bee in your bonnet. Okay. Kramer was astonished when Samaras produced his sewn surfaces. Quote, "With the new work that Mr. Samaras is now showing under the title of Reconstructions, what really shocks," this is Kramer, obviously, "what really shocks is that the abstract pictures are not actually paintings, but patchwork fabric constructions sewn on a sewing machine. The vogue of the patchwork quilt in recent years must have suggested to many artists and art students that there was something to this old folk art for the modern artist to take hold of and bend to a new purpose. But Mr. Samaras seems to be the only one around to have actually acted on the idea." Actually, we need the old boo, back. I like the kid boo, but like the old boo from Princess Bride. I mean, okay. Unquote. Artist quilts. Okay, wait. Hang on. Yep. There's one point in this when Cider's like, clearly Hilton Kramer had no idea about the art quilt movement that was happening, that like she talks about in this book. He's like, Samaras is the only person who's actually, doing anything about this interesting idea about quilts being art. I mean, really, dude? Really? Come on. It galls. So the last thing about Samaras here, the only one. I know, Liz D. He's gross. Ella Riggs, exactly. I know, my blood pressure too. I mean, it's like, it sucks. It just sucks. So this is a painting by Samaras. This is a painting in 1992. And I have realized that I didn't get the Anna Williams picture pulled up, but I can do it very quickly because I know where it is. Have I talked about how much I hate Dropbox? Yes, probably many times. I hate it. So who out there knows about Anna Williams? Anna Williams was she's been called one of the greatest American artists in the 20th century. I mean, it depends on who you ask. Hilton probably wouldn't say that, but she lived in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge. She was a domestic. That was how her biography described her, how the family who she was working for described her. So, I'm never sure if that term is, it's outdated, but I don't know. I'm not going to rewrite things. I think, anyway, I don't know. She was a domestic worker. She was, a nanny. She lived with the family that she lived with for a very long time, or worked with them for a very long time. And she made these extraordinary objects. And some people say that they're not quilts because they're not quilted. This is Anna Williams. Let me do that. So she, when you see these quilts, you will understand why I wanted to show her, and her work. So some of the most beautiful quilt pictures I've ever seen were the ones that we took of Anna Williams's quilts when we were down in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge, for Quilt Folk. And I'll show you some of them now. And I put one of her quilts on the cover of the magazine, and I think it's the best cover we've ever had. We've had some really good ones. We've had some really, really good ones. Hang on, let me just go like this. So Anna Williams quilts, you see they have these tiny, tiny pieces. We've got some really good close-ups. Really, really tiny strips. strips of pieced bits that kind of overlap with string blocks and other tiny, tiny pieces. I know I'm going to go a little bit quicker than I normally would, but I really want you to see, like, get the gist of it. I mean, we'll talk more about Anni Williams. Look, she signed these with labels on the back of every one. She signed them and had, she numbered them and stuff. So it was really very, very artistic. It was, a lot of quilts aren't signed, but she was signing her work. Nancy Crow is influenced hugely by Anni Williams and has talked about that, and I believe helped get Anni Williams an exhibit, like maybe even her first exhibit. So she got some notoriety while she was alive. And yeah, if you've got Quilt Folk issue 7, you can learn more about Anna. And we'll talk about her sometime. But look at this. You see the that corner of the quilt. I mean, it's a little Samaras, right? It's a little like Lucas Samaras, because you have these overlapping strings. And Anni Williams was making her work. Oh, look at that. Huh? You see what I'm saying? You see the inspo. That's what I'm saying. That, yeah, it is. Yeah, okay, there is quilting. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There is quilting. But I think my friend Jonathan was saying that that they were wall hangings more than they were quilts. I don't know that he's... Quack, quack, cat. Quack, quack, cat. I'm so glad that you are here. It's great to see you. There's a couple, too, that are embellished. Let me... I'm showing you the pictures. Remember, these are from Quilt Folk, taken by Melanie Zacek, the brilliant Melanie Zacek. I mean, this is like the folder of look at this picture. She's a genius. She's an angel, Melanie. I love her and I miss her. We put this in the magazine, a full spread. It was a photo essay, basically. So you can kind of see, especially this quilt on the right. Hang on, I think that was the cover shot. Oh, brilliant. Let me go. Yeah, look at that. Oh, look at the hashtags. That's cool. This is showing on my browser, so I can't zoom in on these pictures from here. Unusually wide bindings, says Kenny. Very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, S.J. Pepper says this is your favorite quilt of the night. I should have just done a whole thing on Anni Williams. I'm feeling bad because I don't know all the facts of her life, but she's fascinating. I do have pictures of Anni Williams. And can I pull them up here? Hang on. I would like to show the lady. Let's just pause for a second and do that. This is Anni Williams, Baton Rouge. Look at that spin. It's a spinning wheel, right? On the right. This is so sweet, this picture. I love it. And one thing I do remember about her story is that she worked in she made all of her quilts in a very small room in her home where she lived. I don't know if she lived with the family or not. Can't remember that. But she pieced them all in a very, very small space. And she had fabric. Look at Samaras. How about that? Isn't that interesting? What the year is on this quilt, I don't know. And she would listen to her stories. That's what she said. She would listen to watch soap operas on her little television and make these brilliant things. And she made a good deal of them. There were many of them. So here's what's crazy. So I wanted this story so bad for the magazine. Look how tiny the pieces get. Isn't that nuts? Isn't it amazing? Oh, I can zoom in. Look at me zooming in. Look how tiny. I can zoom in a lot. Oh man, nobody's better at high res than Quilt Folk magazine. So I wanted it so bad, but the folks who had the quilts were not easy to get a hold of. I won't go too into it, except to say that we finally got them, and they brought the quilts, and I was like, I just couldn't believe what I was looking at. I wanted to photograph every single. Look at this one. Oh God, I wanted to photograph all of them, and I think we did. and we were bit by fire ants. Faith Quilts. Thank you so much for subscribing. I think you've been around a little while, but I appreciate. And I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. There were fire ants in the grass. Sorry, I'm really getting on this Anni Williams tip, but I mean, why not? There were fire ants in the grass, fire ants, and Melanie and I were like, oh no! And we were like leaping through this grass in Baton Rouge at this like living history farm kind of deal. And it had just rained. That's why everything looks so lush and beautiful. Okay. Well, there you go. There's your reference point. Okay, so there's your reference point. Well, you know what? I'll do the whole Anni Williams thing one day. So I'm looking at Samaras and I'm like, oh yeah, interesting. You know? You see now I might have wanted to look at Anni Williams because, you know, and this is 92. And look, Piet Mondrian was doing little squares and things. I mean, obviously, Anni Williams was not the first person to create this sort of look, but I don't know. I mean, she really, people would have known her stuff in the 90s. I mean, Nancy Crow was definitely doing stuff in the 90s, and she was heavily influenced by Anni Williams. And she said so, and I say so. And, you know, so like Samaras is like definitely hip to what's going on in the art world. And I mean, I just think it really, really looks like an Anni Williams quilt. And that's the back. That's pretty awesome. And there's another one on the wall. So, and it's kind of bent. I mean, it's kind of like, almost like it's, you know, a blanket, you know, because it's not uniform. The canvas isn't uniform. Yeah, Faith, you've been subscribed for 7 months. Thank you. You know, this show's only been on for 9 months, so I know what that means. Yeah, fire ants, they were really terrible. And we got, like, jumping spiders in Utah. We've been through a lot. Does the piece have sequins? Yes, Quack Quack Cat. Some of Anni Williams' pieces. Oh, look at this one. This is the last picture of Samaras. Some of them do have sequins. Yeah, and like little other embellishments. Very cool. I have wine, I forgot. So, yeah, there you go. Lucas Samaras, Anni Williams. It's a crack up. Okay, so we've got a little bit more to show you. Sam Gilliam. In this guy show. But now it's not a guy show. I have to take that title, I have to change the title of the show because we've looked at the colonial gal in her cute little dress and her, without her knickers or something, I don't know, pantaloons. And we looked at Anni Williams. So really, I'm sorry guys, sorry gentlemen, if you thought it was gonna be all men tonight. We'll have to do an all male show next time. Or at some point in the future. I'm going to take a quick break because I need to do that, and I'll be right back with a little bit more. I have like 2 other things. Okay, I don't know. I it's one of those nights I don't want to stop. So I'll be right back in a second. Okay, we're back. I'm small again. I feel small. Okay, so I hope you had a good break. And I hope you didn't break anything. And now we're going to continue with the show. The show that was going to be all about men and their quilt art. But, things changed. So I was thinking, as I was as I was putting together the show, I suppose it's true that I'm looking for things to share with you, but a lot of it's kind of half and half. Either I have a bunch of stuff ready to show you, or I'm like, I just sort of go looking, because I want to be inspired by what to show you. And, I've told you it kind of like, I can't just plan the show ahead for like 3 weeks in the future. I wish I could. Oh God, that would be good. Because before the show, I am running around like a crazy person, getting everything ready. It's got to change actually, because I'm very stressed out before the show. Because I just, it's live. It's like, the curtain goes up, Anyway. So, oh wait, who's going to bed? Ivy, are you? I think I missed you. I think I missed you. Somebody went to bed. Fire ants. Oh, we've been through a lot. I'm really behind. Crafts for Others. Val, you've been subscribing for 7 months too. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. It's great to see you too. It's so true. I haven't seen you in a minute. Thank you for being here. That's awesome. And people are like, I'm going to make string quilts. And does Streamlabs came through? Streamlabs? I thought Streamlabs beat a hasty retreat. I don't know. And thanks to everybody's welcoming Crafts for Others back. That's so great. I'm going to do it too. You get welcome baskets in the chat from this awesome community when you are back after a while, or you subscribe, or you're new in the chat. Anyway, so the books that I have access to now, I'm so happy about it now that I'm home. And more books are arriving all the time. And so lately I've just been enjoying so much going through books and flipping through things. But I was also like, I really want to get online and like just dig and like explore and find some stuff, or go back to links that I had saved and look at things. And so that's what I did. That's what I did today a little bit this morning. And I found this guy. His name is Sam Gilliam. Put it in here. Sam. Oh, good night, Sonia. Must leave for now. I'll catch up tomorrow. Love those quilts. I'm thinking it would be fun to try something like that. Lots of scraps and strings and things. Have a good evening. There you go. Strings and things. You should call your quilt Strings and Things. Padma Strings and Things. That's it. That's cute. Good night. So, Sam Gilliam. Chris Mass. Yeah, Chris Mass, it's so good to see you too. Our resident tattoo artist. Oh my God, Bridgewater MBA. We had one of Sam's works at my university. It was tucked into a corner of a corridor, and we never treated it like the work it was. Oh my God. Kind of sad it took our art college director to tell us to notice it. You know what? This person is very interesting. And this picture, yeah, Chris, exactly. I should give credit to the person who took this picture because it's incredible. So, no, I had not heard of this person. This is why we do this, because it's a show about art and life. It's, quilts take us to this guy who is pretty cool. I printed off from Art News in 2018. The editors republished an interview with Sam Gilliam in 1973. So that kind of made me into it too, because we looked at Lucas Samaras, who was making his quilt work in the 1970s. So this piece is called American Quilt 28. American Quilt 28. It was made in 1975. It's in the Phillips collection, and it's 16 by 18. So, new discoveries and connections between artists. Mother Nature, this show is all about new discoveries and connections between artists. And, Christmas, if you missed it, I got my trailer done. So it's on the Twitch content page, but I have to put it in the trailer spot on the page, but I'm really excited. We like it. We think it works. So make sure to check it out and send it to your friends. In fact, I'll put the link to it in the chat. That's right. Because it's on YouTube as well. I don't care where people watch it, but if you watch it, that'd be great. Hang on. Yep. I got to do this. I mean, this is like marketing in real time. Okay, here. How about that? Share that little that thing. Okay, so this work by Sam Gilliam. Okay, it's called American Quilt 28. What is it with these guys doing like numbers? You know, American Quilt 28, Reconstruction 28. Oh, Reconstruction 28. That was what I read about earlier. That's wild. So Sanford Biggers, you know, do you think about him? You think about the cleaning lady is right out there. Quilty Mouse, you got it exactly. Sanford Biggers' work has quilts in it. You know, he does paintings and sculptural works, multimedia works with quilts in the pieces, actual quilts and pieces of quilts. And so when I saw this, I was very interested because this has patchwork in it too. So Sam Gilliam is an African-American painter associated with the Washington Color School. Gilliam's hallmark drape paintings, which consist of stained fabric or paper resembling tie-dye, are regarded as a major step in the development of American art. Quote, "We need to continue to think about the whole of what art is, what it does," he explained. "Even though my work is not overtly political, I believe art has the ability to call attention to politics and to remind us of this potential through its presence." Born in Tupelo, Mississippi, in 1933, he grew up in Kentucky and graduated with a BFA from the University of Louisville. He moved to D.C., and he supported himself by teaching at public schools. In the decades that followed, Gilliam moved through a variety of techniques incorporating metal forms, thickly applied paint, and quilt-like patterning. What? Oh no! Okay. In 2005, a major retrospective of his work was held at the now defunct Corcoran Gallery of Art. Okay, so from this, I don't have much for Sam Gilliam. I mean, there's this, and then there's just some of this, and you know, I know I've been dipping into some textile art stuff. I mean, I know that, and I love doing that. But you know, Lucas Samaras, if he had just been doing you know, the very specific quilt references are important to me, and this in this show, and this is also a very specific quilt reference. However, you know, bringing you things like this, and when we talk about Sam Gilliam, is clearly important too, because he's draping cloth. I mean, this was in 1969, and when you talk about this kind of stuff, you know, the pioneering quilt artists, I didn't even look. Ah! He's in it. He's in the book. Of course he is. But I didn't look before. Sam Gilliam's on page 34. Where is his name? I'm scanning. I'm not seeing it right away, but he's mentioned. So I think that's, you know, important because like textile art and stuff, you know, that was not like, I don't know, it was just beginning. It seems like it was sort of just beginning to become something that museums were willing even to look at. Like there was this famous show, Wall Hangings. I forget when it was, but yeah. So, and he's a man working with these drapes, you know, draping cloth. And then this piece seemed very quilt-like to me, you know, like an Amish bars quilt or something. And he used very interesting. Bridgewater, I love that you have this information. If I remember correctly, you're saying to Mother Nature, he uses everything in his works. The portrait of Gilliam looks like a Platon portrait. I don't know that photographer, but I clearly should. You know, like that's, if he's known by his name and his style, I should know. So yeah, this looks like Amish bars to me. It's a painting. It's maybe little G's bendy with this kind, I mean, I don't know, you know, with this sort of straight line. I mean, those bars. And then this one too, which is the last picture I have of his. But I did want to share a couple quotes from this article in Art News, which is a reprint from 1973. And this is the intro to that article. Sam Gilliam's abstract canvases from the 1960s and 70s, which often dramatically defy the oil on canvas hung on a wall formula, went largely unseen in many mainstream institutions and galleries for years. That began to change a few years ago. Now, some of his paintings sell for more than $1 million, and his work has become a staple in permanent collection hangs. So, this picture, by the way, which is how I found him, is called American Quilt 28, and it was made in 1975. And here's this. Hang on. Okay, this is the one. The interviewer asks, how sculptural do you consider your work? And Gilliam says, quote, I don't consider it sculpture. I know it's painting. The lines are very narrow. But in formal thinking, painting is illusionistic. The sculpture offers pictorial possibilities. And the person says, do you regard folds as dimensional characteristics? And Gilliam says, yes, when I make a painting on the floor, if I want to stretch it on supports, it's illusionistic and is a painting. When I hang it, I'm true to the process by which it's made. It's a relief, but it can be seen or moved around depending on whether I paint bas relief or high relief. In each case, destroying illusion, lessening pictorial references. Okay, that was a very smart artist talking about his process. But what I liked about what he said, and I was reading through the rest of the article, is that his sense of draping and changing the structure of an object, basically just the way you turn it and stuff. I mean, quilts, that's what quilts are. I mean, they have really infinite forms depending on how you drape it or hang it or bunch it up or fold it. And I hadn't really thought about that in that way. I hadn't thought about how sculpturally quilts are really, they have infinite possibilities. And a painting, you know, has one structure. I mean, it has dimensions, but it really only has one structure. But you take a piece of cloth and it's literally infinite what you could do in terms of hanging it or draping it or whatever. So this was like, oh, nice. Charles, thank you very much for the platonphoto.com link. And yeah, and so that sort of nugget of, oh, wow, you know, a quilt is a sculptural form was my like nerd moment today. And I was like, yeah, I really want to share about Sam Gilliam. So that is the show, except for anybody who wants to hang out a little bit more, I want to show you one other thing. Oh, wait, no, yeah, this is it. This is the thing. Okay, I have yet another thing, but I think that's better saved for later because I didn't have it ready. It's a book. It was a passage from a book I wanted to read you about quilt history that is really wrong. Like, it's very wrong. And I was going to share it with you because I don't know. It's like the whole thing about how the colonists came to America, like the literal Puritans came to America and were making beautiful patchwork quilts, and it's just not the case. And it's repeated a lot in quilt history books and books about quilts in America and stuff, and it really isn't the case. And so if you don't know about that, stick around, at some point this week, during this week's show, Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central or Saturday night at 8 p.m. Central, I will share that with you. And, I have just thought things that were just totally wrong about quilt history that I learned later, I learned better later. And so, I want to share that with you too, because there's this myth that the people coming over on the Mayflower were the people sewing these quilts together, and it's just not the case at all. And whenever there's myths to bust, whenever there's something I learned that I thought was true, but the real story is always better. The true story is always better than the myth that gets told. And so, yeah, but I just couldn't believe it. I was reading this little passage, and I was like, wow, they like say in the book, the Puritans were found time to sew these beautiful quilts. And I mean, they were like barely surviving. They were like keeping like, the wolves from like eating the babies. Like it was really not, they were just trying to survive. Oh, and by the way, quick tip. Oh, tonight's Thursday. Oh God. Thank you. Tonight is Thursday. So the American Experience show, PBS American Experience. Okay. I know I should have been knowing about this show for a long, long time. I've heard of it, but it's really good. And I'm sure many of you are like, yeah, American Experience. I don't miss an episode. I looked up like the best ever episodes of American Experience, and one of them was on the Puritans. Y'all, you need to watch the American Experience on the Puritans. I mean, it's really good. It was fascinating. I mean, it's like, what was it really like this Mayflower business, and what was it like for them, and what was like Thanksgiving, the Native Americans, like what was it actually? And they get, diaries and things, and it's fascinating. It's an hour, and I just couldn't, I was mesmerized. It was very, very good. Yes, American Experience, Puritans. Oh, amazeballs, exactly Bridgewater. Where did I watch it? I watched it on the PBS app. I don't know how TV works. I don't know. I don't mean to be like a boob, but I'm just like, I get the Apple remote and I'm like, but I'm pretty sure, but if you just search, you could probably watch it on YouTube. You might be able to. And if somebody finds a link or anything, they're on Prime. Okay, yeah, El Riggs, maybe it was on Amazon Prime. Search wherever you look at TV stuff. Search for American Experience. And it's PBS, so not every episode is available, but some of them are. And the Puritans one was not hard to find. So I think it's one of those ones that is released, to the general public. But your Colonial American, Penny Catherine. You have ancestors on the Mayflower. That's wild. Find it on your PBS passport. Love it. Yes, Jan Make Stuff. Myra, you're on it. So, yes, they read from the diary. Yes. And by the way, I saw Kitty Hannah. Wait, no, who was asking about... Yeah, Kitty Hannah. I wonder when the first quilts happened. We'll talk about it. In fact, that's a really good jumping off point, that particular book. Okay, we'll talk about it. This is the last thing, I promise. So one of the things that Sam Gilliam mentioned was Albers, Joseph and Anni Albers. And I won't go back to the article because he's too smart for me. And I mean, hearing artists talk about their work sometimes, I'm like, say it again. But Joseph and Anni Albers were, pretty legendary, this power couple in art. Anni Albers died in 1994 at the age of 94. She was born in 1899. And she was a textile artist and printmaker. And Wikipedia says Anni Albers was an American textile artist and printmaker credited with blurring the lines between traditional craft and art. There's a lot to unpack there. This is called wall hanging. Anni Albers did a lot, and Joseph Albers was her partner, and he did a bunch of stuff too. She was primarily a weaver, and just like Anna Williams, there's a whole show to be done on Anni Albers. But I wanted to show you because there's this Lucas Samaras and there's the Sam Gilliam thing, and he mentions Anni Albers, and I'm like, oh yeah, Anni Albers. I'll go back to this picture, but sorry, modern quilters. When you Google Anni Albers quilt, and you get a couple things. You get that first image I showed you. You get this, but you also get tons of modern quilters who are showing work inspired by Anni Albers. because she is kind of a, she's an icon in fiber art, and in people who go to art school, definitely if you're in a textile department in art school, like you're definitely studying Anni Albers and Joseph Albers. And there's almost an obsession, I think, sometimes in a good way, but like, a love. I should just say a love for the motifs and things of Anni Albers. And I remember modern quilters love Anni Albers. That's right, Charles. Exactly. This is another one. I think it's this one. This I pulled right at the very end, right before the show was going on. I was like, oh, Sam Gilliam talked about Anni Albers. I'm going to just pull a few things. So I don't have names and stuff on this. This was not expected. It was not planned. But all of the things I'm showing you, these modern quilt people, Anni Albers was the inspiration, or sometimes their quilt is called, after Anni Albers or homage to Anni Albers. And I remember my teacher, I did write down that this came from a blog or a website called Not a Primary Color. So that's like the girl who runs that blog, and that's her quilt, Not a Primary Color. I thought since we saw her, we should say that. But one of my professors was like, Anni Albers is problematic because they were like down in Mexico for a long time, and she was sort of appropriating their style, sort of taking what they had down there in that particular area. But I don't know enough to say that. The forms are pretty basic, pretty universal, I should say. So that's a piece of cloth. And I said, she was doing a lot of weaving, but this is pieced, this piece, and this is in San Francisco Museum somewhere. And then this one is too. And someone mentioned suiting, like suiting material. It looks like suiting material, totally. Oh my God, wow, M. Hicks, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. So that's the show. I mean, we really did look at, we looked at quilts. Lucas Samaras, that's all quilts. I mean, it's patchwork. He was doing patchwork all over the place. And then he was doing Anna Williams inspired things. What do I want to do? Oh, I'll put my favorite one up to close the show. Maybe my very pale filter tonight is appropriate because it's like, an art gallery, sort of a wan artist, almost goth, but too old for that. You're never too old to be a proper goth. But anyway, so that's the show. It's Patchwork by Lucas Samaras. The only person, said Hilton Kramer of the New York Times, who was actually acting on this wild concept about patchwork being primitive cubism. Primitive cubism. Remember that? Let's not ever forget that. Primitive cubism. Sonia's back. 90% man show. Exactly. Window pane plaids. Oh yeah, window pane plaids. I think it was wool, that Anni Albers. So, hey, M. Sue John. You know what? It was a great show. I mean, I really liked this show. I'm very energized. It was really an exploration. I mean, it really was. I was exploring as you were. It's just a great time. Thanks, Quilting Politic. And when you're old enough and your skin is thin enough, you're goth without the black hair. That's really good. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. Thank you so much. I'm going to do those affiliate links right now. In particular, I do recommend, this is pretty awesome, quiltnerd.link/pioneering, and then quiltnerd.link/Reich patriotic. Okay. But I'll do that right now. I'll see you soon. And send the trailer to your friends if they're like, I don't know what that Quilt Nerd thing is and what's Twitch. I cover all of that in that trailer. Okay, see you guys. I'll see you on Saturday. Thanks, Penny Catherine. It is a pleasure. even if I get stressed out. Okay,